Countryman is a new entrant to the lucrative crossover market. When rival Nissan launched its Qashqai crossover, the strange name masked the genius behind its conception. With more than 250,000 worldwide sales now, that name doesn't seem quite so strange. All-new model Mini's biggest model to date has jumped onto the crossover bandwagon, with the company insisting that its new creation, the Countryman, is definitely not a 4x4 and absolutely not a hatchback. It's a crossover and no argument. Of course, the motivation behind all this is the predicted sales that it might achieve. "We want a slice of this particular pie," a Mini executive told us, and with the Qashqai's success as the benchmark, it's difficult to argue with that. Mini has also been very aggressive with its pricing. An entry-level model is competing on price with a Ford Focus, which means buyers get a premium car for the same cash. The Countryman now underscores Mini's position as brand. No longer is it just a small car manufacturer. With the Countryman, Mini wants to retain its hatchback customers who have no choice to look elsewhere when they have a family. This is the brand's first 5-seat four-door, and undoubtedly it will appeal to young trendy urbanites looking to make a statement. The Countryman may end up being a fashion accessory, but does it have the all-round package to keep its customers loyal to Mini? The Mini Countryman is a genuinely good car which also benefits from strong residuals and a low purchase price, giving it the edge it needs to beat the competition and take the win in the 2011 cost of motoring crossover category. Responsive handling. Like all Mini models, the Countryman is as much about the way it drives on twisty roads as any other facet of its engineering. A Mini has to be fun to drive, and the Countryman delivers with agility and precision that none of its SUV or crossover rivals can come close to. There's more lean in corners than in most other Mini models, which is a consequence of the Countryman's high riding stance, but it's composed and comfortable. Impractical. If you're looking for an SUV or crossover to be the most practical car you'll ever need, the Mini Countryman is probably not for you. It has a reasonable boot, but it's not as big as many of its competitors, and the rear seats don't fold down completely flat to leave you stumped when trying to squeeze in larger loads. However, the Countryman works well for transporting families and can fit 3 kids in the back seat with ease. Special editions in 2015. At the Geneva Motor Show in 2015, a Park Lane edition of this car was announced. Effectively a luxurious trim level. If you really like your British culture, this could be the car for you. It features a bespoke two-tone paint job as well as myriad exterior and interior styling tweaks. Then, in July 2015, a fleet-focused Mini Countryman Cooper S E ALL4 business model was introduced. It offered 17-inch alloys and a load of company car kit like cruise control, parking sensors and sat-nav, plus CO2 emissions of 123 gkm. So find out if this is the best crossover out there. Read on for the full Mini Countryman review. There is plenty of choice when it comes to Mini Countryman performance levels, thanks to both petrol and diesel engines being offered. Petrol engines. All of the petrol engine used in the Mini Countryman are 1.6-liter units and come in 98, 122 and turbocharged 184 bhp forms. The turboed engine belongs to the Cooper S model, and it covers off 0.62 miles per hour in just 7.6 seconds in front-wheel drive, manual gearbox form. Choose the 4-wheel drive, automatic version, and 0.62 miles per hour takes a more leisurely 8.3 seconds. The 98 bhp engine used in the 1 model is short on puff, so the 122 bhp Cooper model is the better all-rounder. Only the Cooper S model is available in front or 4-wheel drive, the other engines sticking with front drive only. The John Cooper Works model arrived in September 2012 and has 218 bhp version of the Cooper S's 1.6-liter petrol turbo engine to deliver 0.62 miles per hour in 7.0 seconds and a top speed of 140 miles per hour. Diesel engines. The Mini Countryman 1D has a 1.6-liter, 90 bhp turbodiesel engine that drives the front wheels and sees off 0.62 miles per hour in 12.9 seconds while returning 64.2 miles per gallon and just 115 gkm of carbon dioxide emissions. However, this engine struggles on faster stretches of road, So the 112 bhp version of the Cooper D is a better bet as it offers 0.62 miles per hour in 10.9 seconds and much more mid-rev muscle. However, the best diesel is the 2.0-liter motor with 143 bhp and bags of shove throughout the rev range. It provides 0.62 miles per hour in 9.3 seconds with the 6-speed manual gearbox, 9.5 seconds with the auto, and is a refined, swift cruiser. Recommends so long as your budget can stretch to it. The 2.0-liter turbodiesel of the Cooper SD is the pick of the engines thanks to its economy, emissions and punchy performance. Yes, the legendary go-kart handling. Mini's hallmark, and it's fair to say that the Countryman still has these characteristics. Yes, you get a fair bit of body lean into the corners and, yes, you are in an elevated driving position, but it still has that pointiness that is part and parcel of other Mini models. It is agile, and if you enter a bend quickly, it'll respond accordingly without needing too much correction. The handling on the all-wheel drive diesel that we tested didn't differ that much from the two-wheel drive version, but it did over that extra smidgen of grip that the Mini purist will require. The system offers a 5050 split of power between the front and back wheels, but it can transfer all the power to one end if the road conditions change and the system detects slippage. All this is done automatically. There's no 4x4 button to press. The steering is nicely weighted but doesn't deliver quite enough feel to make the Countryman a real driver's car, but the brakes are solid and gear change is positive, although a little notchy when moving vertically up or down the gate. There's a few complaints though. Mini has installed a U-shaped handbrake, which is monumentally cumbersome, and the car is prone to trendlining and undulations in the road that can put the car offline when traveling at speed. Mini insists on putting the electric window buttons on the central console, which some may find annoying, but that control button located on the central tunnel is a cinch to use. There's a gargantuan speedo in the middle which still requires quite a sizable glance away from the road ahead to check your speed, although there is a digital readout in front of you that you never ever notice. Again, Mini insists on putting the rev counter right in front of you, which only serves to remind you that this is where the speedo should be. The aircraft-style U-shaped handbrake is an unnecessarily fancy inclusion that is normally impeded by your mobile phone if you have dutifully put it in the holder in the central tunnel. You may like the Mini quirkiness, but that illogical layout is not made any better by the rather hard plastics used for the dashboard and glove box. The Countryman cabin isn't a disaster, but form has ruled over function here. Sadly, Mini Countryman comfort levels are not its strong point. The ride does get a little busy because the car is pretty stiff like every other Mini really. It's not unbearable, but rear seat passengers might start to look a little queasy on poorly surfaced country lanes and potted city streets after 30 minutes of driving. Although the high driving position is welcome, the seats are on the firm side. They are better than those on other Minis, but back sufferers might find them somewhat uncomfortable. Both cars we tested were noisy, particularly the diesel, which sounded unreasonably agricultural. Inside we experienced buzzing from the rear of the car, which was irritating, and overall wind and road noise suppression was inadequate. The Countryman has a tinny ambience, and although you might consider that all part of the charm, we don't. Mini Countryman trims, as is the case with all the different models. Mini Countryman equipment levels vary depending on which trim level you choose. The Countryman starts with the 1 and then progresses through Cooper and onto Cooper S models. Each offers something distinct from the others, and there is also the choice of 6-speed manual or automatic gearboxes. With the Countryman fulfilling an SUV role in the Mini lineup, it can also be ordered with 4-wheel drive in place of front-wheel drive, though only the Cooper S and diesel-powered models can be had with either. The 1 and Cooper models stick with front drive as their only option. Standard equipment: the Mini 1 is quite generous in its standard equipment and fixtures for a Mini model. It comes with ESP traction control, 6 airbags and an alarm, as well as air conditioning, electric windows front and rear, electric door mirrors, rear parking sensors, CD stereo, MP3 connection and Bluetooth. With all of this equipment, it does seem strange that Mini doesn't include alloy wheels as part of the one's kit list. To get alloys, You need to move to the Cooper model that also adds automatic air conditioning, sports seats and Mini's connected system that links the driver's iPhone to the car's sound system so you can listen to music and use the internet via the car. The Cooper S models gets hands-free phone preparation and the chrome line interior that adds splashes of chrome trim to the instruments, air vent surrounds and gear lever surround to brighten up the cabin. The John Cooper Works version of the Countryman has a deeper front spoiler, unique alloy wheels, red-painted brake calipers and 10mm lowered suspension. Special editions in 2015 the Cooper SE-ALL4 business model was introduced, which added sat-nav, cruise control, parking sensors, and automatic headlights and wipers, and the Park Lane edition which majored on British style. This luxurious trim level added a two-tone paint job and silver enhancements inside and out. Mini Countryman accessories. There's almost no end to the amount of equipment you can add to a Mini Countryman, so it's just the same as any other Mini model in this respect. Aside from the variety of paint colors and metallic paint, there are graphics that can set your car apart, as well as different finishes for the roof and door mirrors. Inside, sports seats can be added to the one, while leather upholstery is an option. Mini also offers the option of the Sport button, which sharpens up throttle and steering responses for a crisper driving experience. Countryman buyers can also choose sports suspension for non-John Cooper Works versions to give a firmer, sharper drive. There's also a wide choice of optional alloy wheels, while more practical extras include roof rails, ski and cycle carriers, and a tow bar. Inside, the rear seat can be ordered as a two-seat arrangement with the central storage rack from the front extending all the way through the rear cabin. The Mini Countryman safety levels are impressive and reinforced by the full 5 stars it qualified for in the Euro NCAP safety rating tests. And there's more than enough safety equipment on a standard model to give you peace of mind. To keep you out of trouble you get traction control, stability control, electronic brake force distribution, cornering brake control, brake assist and hill assist. There are also 6 airbags, ISOFIX child safety seat mountings and a tire warning system. This is a surprisingly practical 5-door car if you have a couple of young kids to ferry around each day. The rear seats can slide backwards and forwards and the back angle can be adjusted too. At their full extent there's plenty of legroom for rear seat passengers and, predictably, for a crossover there's a lot of headroom too. There's a 350-liter boot, which can be increased to 1,170 liters when you fold the rear seats down. That's pretty good. The Nissan Qashqai offers 410 liters with seats up, but only 860 liters of total load space. The Countryman is not quite as good as a Ford Focus though it has 385 liters with seats up and 1,247 liters with seats down, but this is a Mini, which has never been considered a paragon of practicality. There's also a clever panel behind the rear seats that can be folded down to create a flat floor. Without it the boot floor is sunken, but the rear seats cannot be folded totally flat because there is a very slight angle. You can either have a 5-seat version with 3 seats in the back or a 4-seater with an extended central rail running down the middle where you can attach all manner of things such as a mobile phone holder, a sunglasses case holder, cup holder and if you are of a flashy disposition, an iPad holder. Depending on the rear seat configuration you can fold them down in a 60 hours 40 minutes split for 3 rear seat passengers in the backrests. By contrast, can be arranged in a 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split for extra flexibility.